Hello, guys, and welcome back to another episode of That Pop Culture Pod. I am one of your co-hosts, Juan Perez, and joining me today, another one of our co-hosts, and the inspiration for the mommy roly-poly from Mickey 17, Hunter Crate. How are you doing today, brother?
Oh, it's rolling cool. I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Also joining us today is my beautiful fiancé, Jessica. How are you today?
Hey, I'm good.
So, obviously, as the intro implies, we're going to be doing a lot of talking about Mickey 17 today. But we've made a decision that at the end of the podcast, we will have, the ending where we will, say all of our normal stuff, roll credits. And then the whole rest of the podcast will be all of us talking about this amazing movie that we all seen. So, if you're interested in spoilers, you're interested in maybe watching it and you want to get our gist of it, definitely stay for the end. We'll cover this all again at the end. What have you guys been up to?
Just started another new job. I been playing more Total War and Deadlock mostly. Hanging out with my beautiful partner. Doing lots of arts and crafts and trying to catch up on some movies and TV series. What about y'all?
Actually, we've been doing a bit. Obviously, over the weekend, we spent time with you and Ryan. We had a little birthday party for our buddy Ryan, which me and Jess did not find out until we were leaving, that it was literally 2 or 3 weeks before his birthday, which is crazy. So obviously we spent time with you guys over the weekend, and then me and Jess played a lot of Xbox this weekend.
So much.
So, obviously, and on top of that, for those who don't know or aren't in Michigan, it's been absolutely beautiful up here. So I've been taking the dogs for a lot of walks. Me and Jess have been trying to go golfing, but we've been tired, and then some of the driving ranges have been closed. But I'm taking in the weather right now, bro. That has been my top priority. Just I'll be at work and I'll just be standing in the sun while I'm waiting to get loaded. I fucking love it.
Yeah, it's been almost perfect weather. It could be a couple degrees warmer. But,
Oh yeah, for sure.
But it's been awesome. I feel like my brain is so happy after such a long, dark, gloomy winter. It really wasn't even that long. We're kind of early on the warm sunlight, to be honest, for Michigan. But I've been
it might
very
not
happy.
stay.
Well, yeah, I'm convinced it's going to be freezing cold 2 weeks from now.
It might be.
I hope you're
hope
wrong.
That's not true.
This is what us Michiganders call false spring.
Yeah, for real. I'm hoping you're wrong. But in Michigan or the states, most northern states, I would think, it isn't ever really confirmed as it's going to stay warm until early May. Any time before that, you just never know.
I'm pretty sure we've had snow in June before.
Maybe. I remember a few years ago, I don't know, I think it was maybe the year before COVID. Okay, yeah, it was. The year before COVID, 2019. I remember because I was farming for my internship, and it was middle of May, 30, maybe upper 30s degrees in the Lansing area, which is obviously noticeably colder than it gets in Detroit. But even that May was really, really cold. Yeah, I hated that. So that's why it's I've always stuck to the guns that you just never know when it's actually going to get warm. But even though our winter started late this year, I know this is so interesting for everybody. Even though our winter started super late this year, I don't remember it being this cold in years. It was just non-stop cold all frickin' summer. I couldn't handle it.
Especially the last couple weeks right before it was so nice out. It was so freezing. It was below zero with the wind chill for a couple weeks, and then it's just all of a sudden it's 60 degrees, which is pretty big switcheroo.
Yeah, I don't particularly love when it just switches that hardcore, but when it's warm, I'll take it as much as I can. Actually, yesterday I went and tried to pick up one of my semis from the shop. And it went down a few weeks ago, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it literally froze. All of the brake system just completely froze, and then a few parts on the inside of the motor did. That's how insanely cold it was. So me and Jess played a lot of Xbox over the weekend, and we were focusing on SpongeBob for the most part. We had a few SpongeBob games that we needed to knock through, a lot of the newer ones, because me and her played Battle of Bikini Bottom when they remade it, and that's one of my all-time favorite games. So a few years ago, Cosmic Shake came out, SpongeBob Cosmic Shake, and even though me and her would devote like a little bit of time, maybe like once every few months to like playing a little bit, we never really finished it. So we did like a hardcore deep dive over the weekend and did like a bunch of the side missions, tried to get a bunch of the costumes, and we finally finished it. And then I don't even know, maybe like 6 months ago, a Patrick Star game came out, and then we ended up starting that one too over the weekend. That one's interesting though, Hunter. What do you think about games that don't have any story mode at all? It's just kind of like a walk around and do whatever you want.
I think I'm fine with it as long as they do it well, as long as you don't feel like you're missing out because it doesn't have a story mode, like a kind of like a true sandbox game, you almost mean.
Yeah, because that's exactly what it's described as, just like a full sandbox game. Because like you just start in like Patrick's in his dream, like on the little, what would you even call that, like robot pony thing, where he's just like going back and forth, and then he wakes up from a dream and he's like, well, now time for a day in the life of Patrick. And then that's the rest, like that's the whole story. You just walk around doing little side missions or interacting with the environment. It's actually really interesting. It's probably the most interactable environment I've played in a very, very long time.
And you collect instruments, aka mayonnaise.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Oh, I get it. I get it now. I'm going to cut that where I fucking did not understand that joke. That's so good.
Oh my god.
It's okay.
It's so bad. I'm like, yeah, we do collect instruments.
No, the look he gave me was not cool. He's like, you're ruining my podcast, stop.
I literally didn't say that at all. You're embarrassing for my friends.
No, seriously.
Oh man.
But yeah, we spent a lot of time doing that, and it's been a while since me and Jess have really played like a hardcore game together. Like every time we play Elden Ring, she does or I do, we basically do that together. But it's nice. It was nice doing something else again. Like we'll game next to each other and talk to each other the whole time, which mostly just consists of me not shutting up while she's trying to concentrate. But I don't know, it was just like cool to where it's like she was putting her game down for large portions of the time when we were playing and just locked in with me, and I really liked that. It was really fun.
Anything but Kingdom Come Deliverance, I'm pretty locked in.
Such a hater, dude.
I can't with that one.
Can't handle the British voice lines.
It's the small heads, the punchable faces. I can't.
The punchable faces are crazy.
What I said, but
I take it so personally when like the side characters, the NPCs will talk shit to you. I'm ready to throw myself into the TV.
Yeah, right. Like you're not even a real person. Who are you talking to like that?
Yeah. Like, what do you mean you just called me a bitch? What?
Mm-hmm.
Nah.
I love the game, but every time I turn it on, she's just like, boo! Tomato, tomato, boo!
Yeah.
I'm tired of it, bro. I need some positivity over here.
I can't stop, won't stop.
But, I do have... Oh, you continue.
No. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm going to send this in the Discord so you can see it. Speaking of SpongeBob, I just wanted to touch base on this because I did want to bring it up. They actually just came out with a SpongeBob SquarePants Magic the Gathering Secret Lair of 6 cards that are primarily references to memes. But I wanted y'all to take a look. And you can
chicken.
You can go ahead and look these up if anyone watching just on Google. SpongeBob Magic Secret Lair, and it's 6 magic cards that are SpongeBob themed, and they're all based on some of the SpongeBob memes. I have mixed feelings on it, but I wanted to share it.
Force of Despair. If it's not your turn, you may exile a black card from your hand rather than pay for spell's mana cost. It's literally Squidward watching through the window as the other guys play.
Personally, I love them.
Yeah, they're fun. I think they're fun and well done for what they are, for sure. I am going to lose my mental if I'm playing an important Magic tournament and somebody wins the game by playing one of these cards against me. I'm gonna lose my mental for sure.
Inevitable betrayal. And
It's
he's
him
just
stuck
looking
to the
down.
Rupa cave.
It is. So stupid. It's actually funny you bring that up. In that SpongeBob Cosmic Shake game, they'll have like little cutaway scenes during dialogue, and it'll be like something gross or ugly or broken, like somebody's like broken leg or somebody with a gross face. And then every single time, the first sound that it is just Patrick screaming, ah! Every time, dude. It is so funny. Let me see if I can get one of those pictures. I'll put it in the Discord as we move.
I was gonna say, so what is the primary, like, what's more of the gist of this game? Like, I feel like I'm missing out on what it fully is.
Okay, so if you're talking about the open world Patrick Star game.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Patrick Star game is literally like that's the beginning sequence. Is you wake up and it says a day in the life of Patrick Star. So you just like come out of your rock, and it's just like a fully open world. Like you can go anywhere at all times. You like load into like the open world where you can go anywhere and no loading screens, anything like that. It's got a lot of the notable places like downtown Bikini Bottom, Mrs. Puff's driving school, the Coliseum where SpongeBob has like the fry cook-offs or whatever. And then you see like little question marks. If you go to the question marks, it's just the characters, and they just ask you to do like little objectives, like maybe cleaning off a fire truck full of slime for Sandy, or Squidward will have you like get everybody out of his tanning area. It's like little stuff like that. But the thing about the game that I think is the most interesting is that, well, one, there's like a lot of references, so I love that. I like when if you're a dedicated fan, then there's just references at every turn. But the big thing is, I think they might be testing a physics system for maybe the next SpongeBob game, because Patrick can literally interact with everything. He can pick up stuff. He can drive all the cars. He can do police chases. He can pick up like reef blowers, and he can pick up like fire hoses, answer phones. It's like literally he can interact with everything. There's a whole park where Patrick plays with Gary, and he goes on the slides. He goes on the swing set, all the stuff. Like it's just literally just whatever you want to do, because he can drive everything around. He can literally interact with everything. My only complaint is that you can't go into any buildings, but I think that maybe takes away from the fact that there's like no load screens.
So you're basically saying this game is better than Starfield, which is all load screens.
Well, everything's better than Starfield.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Point taken.
Except Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Oh my God. Jesus H.
No, let the hate flow. I want to hear it.
I am preying on its downfall.
I am not. It's actually doing very well. The second one, I think, has sold over 2 million copies already. Probably above that now. That was a few weeks ago I seen that. But
Just wants
anyways,
it to
yeah,
be-
it's just a really, really good game, dude. I would recommend it. It's super cheap. And if you really like SpongeBob, I feel like you'll get a lot of enjoyment out of it. Oh, and you can also make like Krabby Patties and Chum and stuff too. Anyways, moving on. What were you saying?
Oh, I was going to say that Jess would prefer the game as Kingdom Gone Undeliverable at this
No.
point.
Literally. And I'm convinced all those purchases are by the producers, so they can boost their numbers. Because they're like, this game sucks. Let's buy all the copies so it looks like we're jumping.
Well, at least I know we're never going to get any sponsors from that company.
I apologize.
R.I.P.
It's going to be the next person in our DM saying unsubbed.
Unsubbed, unsubscribed, your heart way, Kingdom Come, gone. It's ogre.
My bad, guys. My bad.
I just don't know what I did to deserve this.
I have been playing a lot of the Mario and the Legend of the Seven Stars, which is just Mario RPG with Bailey, and we've been playing through that, which has been a lot of fun.
What's that one about?
So this one is a remaster of a game that was on the N64 that was one of my brothers and my favorite when we were younger. It's pretty much like a turn-based fighting RPG game. but it's Mario, and you get different party members. You get Mario and Peach, and there's a guy named Mallow, and you can have Bowser on your team, and you're like fighting to try to collect the 7 stars to kind of bring back. You're just stopping a villain like most of the Mario games or whatever.
Okay.
But it's a lot of fun. The remaster is incredibly well done. It really kept the feel of the original one. It didn't kind of like take away from how cartoony kind of it was. But it's really well done. If you like that style of game in Mario, I would definitely recommend it. We've been having a lot of fun playing it. The only thing is some of that old school RPG music, it'd be putting us to sleep.
Yeah, for real.
Especially like if you're in one area and you're fighting the same sort of enemies to kind of level up, it's like the same exact music in the battle over and over again, so it's just like lulling us to sleep. But it's still really great. We haven't finished it quite yet because we've been kind of playing here and there, but it's a good one. I actually think it's a very well done remaster of the game. It's on the Switch. I think it's a full price game is my only complaint, but it's a pretty long game, so I think it's definitely worth it. But
that's interesting you say that. That was actually one of my like internal complaints. I don't even know if I ever told Jess of the SpongeBob games that we were playing. It's like if you're in a level, you're just gonna hear the same song over and over and over and over again. And I don't like that when it's like I know you have more to offer. Like I know you could put more music in this game. Even when they remaster a game, I like when like the majority of it is original music, but don't be scared to put a little bit of a twist on something if you've been listening to the same song for 45 straight minutes.
yeah, it's at first it's a little bit charming, and then it hits a point where it's kind of grating. Like it's just like it's hard to keep hearing it. I have been known to turn the music off in video games more than a few times though.
That's what I do in like Skyrim and stuff like that now. It's like I used to love listening to those soundtracks. I even had it on like my iPod back in the day. And even like Fallout, where it's like I know most of the songs by word, but at a certain point it's like I've had enough. I don't need to keep hearing this. What are you looking at me like that for?
I just don't really know what I just heard. Anyways, The Sims 4 updated their songs. So it's not the same opening credit like scenes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was fun.
It's pretty nice.
Well, did you ever play The Sims? Because actually a new expansion just came out that she got, and it was actually pretty interesting.
I'm not ready to talk about it.
You're not ready to talk about it?
No.
I've played a lot of The Sims, but I have not played it recently. I used to play a lot on the GameCube and on my older PC. This was a long time ago, but I have not played much of it recently or like any of the new stuff. But
The new pack is a little buggy, in my opinion. So
that's fair.
Yeah, it's brand new. It came out like the end of last week, maybe.
Yeah, I was going to say like a day or two before you bought it.
Yeah. It's still great and it's a lot of fun. It needs work.
Literally the story of every new game that comes out, every new expansion that comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, so she's talking about The Sims 4 in particular, which isn't one that I liked very much, but the one that came out for her, because I like to buy her like little packs when she gets interested in gaming, because she'll go through spirals where she's just not into it at all. So I was telling her, I was like, well, see if there's anything new on it. She was like, oh, something new just came out. But I didn't know she meant like that day. And it's like where you can actually like work. So she owns like a tattoo parlor. And she goes in and actually does people's tattoos and like picks where they go on their body out of all the tattoos and stuff like that. It's actually really cool.
It's pretty fun.
Kind of reminiscent of Sims 3, which is my favorite, which shipped with an entire job system. But we're not going to talk about that. Took The Sims 4 10 years to introduce it.
That's true. But nothing beats the first Sims when you had to have 68 CDs and then download the packs onto the computer.
Oh, yeah, I had it on the Xbox, and yeah, it came with like 3 different discs.
I had a whole,
I do remember that.
I had a whole CD book full of all the expansions. Hot Date, Pets, all of them.
Yeah, actually, I know that. Okay, since we're talking about old games, I have one more thing for you. So, I really like GTAs, and I wanted to play them because the new one's coming out. I have never actually finished GTA Vice City in my life, and I decided I was going to make that my goal while I was taking a little break from Kingdom Come because I have like 50 hours into it, so I wanted a little break from it. And I decided, I was like, this is the time, I'm gonna do it. And I was like halfway through the story, so I had to relearn how to play the game. And to be honest, why I never finished it is because halfway through the game, they're just like, okay, you have no more missions. Go find stuff to buy and then do the missions for that. And I never understood what that meant. So I finally did it all and I finished it. It was kind of lackluster, if I'm being honest with you guys. I can't believe I built this up in my head for the last 20 years. I don't know. But I wanted to say that. I was like, I literally have never beat this game, and then I finally did, and I was like, I guess I could have just kept on not beating it. It's kind of like an abrupt ending. Like, you do these missions that they don't tell you about, and then the guy is like, you owe me money, and then the game ends.
I never played through that one, to be honest with you. So I don't have a lot to add on that one, but
Same.
I have definitely been let down similarly by games that were like super built up either by people or just like something that kind of keeps getting moved down your like to play catalog for a long time, and then you finally come around to it and it's like, oh, this is mid as hell.
Yeah,
Marvel
that's
Rivals.
how,
Marvel Rivals.
yeah, for real. I get you on that. I'd rather just play Overwatch. What was the one? I think it was like good, no evil. Shit, I can't even remember the name of it. I have it on my game thing. I started finally playing that. What the fuck was it? Oh, Beyond Good and Evil.
Okay.
I finally started playing like the original version because they remade it, and I was like, well, I don't really feel like spending money on it, so I'll just play the version I have. I started playing and I was like, God, this is mid. Like, I can't even believe, like, I wanted to play that back when it came out on the GameCube. I never did. And then I finally started playing, and I'm like, this is literally unplayable. I didn't like the way the controls was. I didn't like the whole plot of the story. It just was super boring. I was like, well, I guess I'm just never going to finish this one.
I personally really like the pig guy. I think that's the most compelling part. I think I played this game literally like when it came out. I remember the game, but it's very it's loose in my brain. It's not quite there. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, the pig guy was one of the main reasons why I wanted to play. I liked all the characters that was in it. And then you start moving around and you start with like a boss fight, and then the fighting mechanics are booty cheeks, and I'm like, it's not really my style.
I do not know the game at all.
I'll show you a picture of it. I don't even know if I think I might have played it in the game room. Beyond Good and Evil.
It kind of had some Tomb Raider vibes, right? Like it had some puzzles. Yeah, okay.
Oh, there's the pig guy.
Oh, yeah, no, it doesn't look familiar.
I just remember it from the GameCube.
I think I played strictly just Pac-Man, like the World 1, 2, and 3.
Mm-hmm.
Those
and then
games
Mario
ruled.
stuff on my... They came out with a new one for the Switch. I have yet to try it, but I do own it.
What? I'm looking this up right now. Switch. Hold
yeah,
on.
it's like...
These games ruled. I just want to say, I loved playing these games. They were fun because it was one of the... My mom was always a huge fan of Pac-Man. It was one of the few times we could get her to play one of these like more 3D kind of games with us.
Yeah, I forget what it's called. I think it's like Pac World.
Yeah, Pac-Man World.
Repack.
Like there it is. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, she was grinding that for quite a while because we have a GameCube here. I got it for Christmas one year.
It's nostalgic for me.
It's also hard as hell.
It is, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really, really hard.
It kind of has the same vibe as some of the old Spyro games that were kind of tough.
Yeah, that's kind of what the vibe that I was feeling. Like, it felt like a mix of Mario 64 and Spyro.
Yeah. Those games are awesome, though. I do remember playing those on the GameCube quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
But also,
Yeah,
Pac-Man just rules. The Pac-Man
Pac-Man's
IP,
badass.
very good.
I agree with you. When we got her GameCube, I was like, well, I got you some of the Mario games. And she was like, we need Pac-Man. So I think literally like the day of Christmas, we ordered that off of eBay.
I didn't sound that ungrateful.
No, not ungrateful. Like, you were just like, we also need this game. because I did not play that growing up. My GameCube was strictly for Star Wars games, like Rogue Squadron. I played both of those. I think I might have had one more. Tak. And the Power of the Juju was also on the GameCube for me.
It's arguably one of my favorite consoles.
Probably one of the best controllers.
Yeah.
That's a great controller. We didn't have our GameCube for very long because that was mainly my Xbox was mainly my gaming platform, and then we went to Mexico and we just left it down there. Like, well, okay, I guess we'll just never play that again.
That's tough.
Yeah, I don't think I had another GameCube again until... Oh, no, we had the Wii that had backwards compatibility. So we played all of the GameCube games that we still had. We played those on the Wii.
Yeah, I had the Wii as well. But I still have my Cube.
Yeah, honestly, I think if I had to pick between the GameCube and the Wii, I would probably get the Wii just for the fact that it has GameCube in it. You know what I mean? Like, you could play the GameCube games, and then the 4 good Wii games, you could also play those.
Yeah, I was going to say the GameCube is probably one of my favorite systems of all time. Like, just the library of games for GameCube was just so amazing, and there were so many games that really, like, pushed what it was to be a modern console at that time, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the games that I really, really liked on the GameCube, I ended up, when I rebought them as an adult, I just bought them on Xbox, like the original Xbox, because I have a Halo 2 version of it. Because the Xbox had better load times, because the GameCube was amazing, but I do remember the load times were booty. And they still are, going back and replaying those games.
Yeah, I think part of it also is our capacity for load screens is a lot lower now than it was then. I felt like the GameCube loaded fast when I was a kid, but I definitely would be like, this is egregious now, just because we're used to faster load times now, so it feels like they're even longer.
We also have less time.
Yeah.
You know, like, if you want to hop on and play a game, you're like, all right, I got an hour and a half. And then it's a 30-second to a minute load screen every single time that you want to do something. You're like, well, okay, I guess I'll just turn this off and go and cry and go to bed.
Well, you know, it's not that different than loading into a game you're excited to play, and then you get smacked with a freaking 20-minute update every time you open
Halo.
it. For real.
Every single time I want to play Halo, I feel like that's exactly how it is. Honestly. What's up? Oh, there was another game. I can't remember which game it is, but I have another one like that does that every single time I want to get on it. Maybe it's maybe it's Sea of Thieves. I think Sea of Thieves is another one. My Xbox upload like updates while I have it off, but I have been turning the power off like to the Xbox, like the actual like power cord, a lot more recently. So it's like when I turn it on, I have to end up updating like 8 games at a time. I don't understand why these games need updates every 10 seconds, especially games that have been out for years and years and years.
Yeah. Some of it is probably to do with like maintaining servers and stuff like that, if it's like an online game. But some games there's a lot of updates for and they still don't work right.
Yeah, I feel you. Starfield.
Borderlands 3
I thought you liked
also.
that game.
Yeah, but it's still like like we were talking about when we were all hanging out last weekend, the load screens in it are just it's just too much.
Yeah.
It's way too much. Like he was talking about, I just have no patience for it. Like when you go from playing like Oblivion, you know, like almost 20-year-old game now at this point, and the load screens are instantaneous and the map is significantly bigger. It's a little obnoxious that 8 NPCs and the same map that every other world has, it takes forever to load.
Yeah, I don't know. I still feel like Skyrim is like a more fleshed out and filled game than Starfield, even though Starfield was supposed to be like one of the biggest RPG games ever.
Yeah, and the mods didn't help. Like the verified Bethesda mods didn't help because now there's even more to do. Like me and my brother-in-law just went through and replayed Skyrim again recently over the winter. I think we were talking about it when we first started the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And all of like the Bethesda-based mods themselves, I mean, it added like an extra 20 hours of gameplay. And that's like on a 20-year-old game. Well, 15-year-old game. So, yeah, I know. I'm in the same boat. I mean, I thought it was good enough, but it was definitely not worth the not Elder Scrolls or Fallout we didn't get. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Speaking of Skyrim, did you see the new update for that also that just recently came out?
No, what was it?
Lordbound, I think is what it's called. It's supposed to be a 60-hour of original content expansion for Skyrim.
Skyrim Lorebound.
Lordbound, I think.
Lordbound. Okay, let's see what that's about. A DLC-sized mod for Elder Scrolls V adds new region, quest dungeons, and more. Expected to release September 2025. 3 new main quest lines, 40 quests, 50 dungeons, in a new region. Is it being released by Bethesda?
I don't know. That's what I was trying to figure out.
That's pretty insane. Also, the Oblivion remake in Skyrim, I think it's called Sky Oblivion. That's almost out on PC as well. They've been making that for like 10 years.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna get it out quicker than Bethesda ever gives us a remake.
Yeah, I'm wondering what number Skyrim remake we're gonna get, or Skyrim port for a new console before we get the next Elder Scrolls game.
Yeah, you're probably right, even though that makes me extremely sad.
Like maybe we'll be on like the next gen Xbox and PlayStation with the Skyrim remaster before we even get the new one.
Well, I guess that's not that crazy, because if you think about it, we'll probably get a new console in the next 2-3 years. I mean, by the time that... Yeah, in the next 2 or 3 years, the new consoles have been out for almost 5 years now, right? I think they came out... No, they came out at the end of 2020, so for over 4 years now. So I can't imagine we don't get a new console in the next 2 or 3.
Fair.
I don't know. I was looking at pictures of that Lord's Bound. That looks pretty awesome, dude. I'm gonna definitely check into that when it finally comes out. So, there was something else I actually want to talk to you about. So, for those who have been keeping up about the books, I've been reading. I started the Stormlight Archive. I think I talked about that. And I finally finished the first book, which is like a 47-hour audiobook. And I wanted to give my rating on it. I absolutely love the series. I think it's really kind of slow, like slow-paced. Because, I mean, it was telling 3 different stories, but I don't feel like if you were to add up everything that actually happened, the book should have been that long. And like every single time you're ready to have something answered or something cool's about to happen, the chapter would end, then you just would not hear for that character for another 1 or 2 chapters. It was super annoying. But it's a really fleshed out world, really fleshed out magic system. I really like it. I think all the characters are very likable. I would definitely give the book like an 8. I'd say a fourth of the way through the second book now, which is, I think, Words of Radiance, maybe? Yeah, Words of Radiance. And I like this one significantly better, the second one. And that's still saying like off of an 8 out of 10 book. I like the second one a lot more. I just feel like things are happening a little bit quicker. And things are tying together now. Like a lot of the stuff set up in the first book are finally starting to pay off. So, yeah, that was just my update on that. I really liked it. Oh, one more update. I finally finished The Bad Batch, and it is probably the highest quality Star Wars media I've seen in a very, very, very long time. Story's amazing, characters are amazing, and it ended just so perfectly. I loved it, and anybody who hasn't seen it should definitely watch it.
Yeah, that is one I definitely would like to check out when I get Disney Plus. I'm gonna have a lot of Star Wars stuff to talk about at a different time than you, so it's gonna be a bit desynced, but it'll be good.
It's whatever, because then at least I can also give opinions, because it's always worse to have like a completely one-sided conversation about stuff that you haven't watched yet. You know what I mean?
Fair.
So once you see it, then we can actually really start talking about it. And then maybe we can do a few bonus episodes about like the Star Wars lore up to this point. But do you guys maybe want to get into the point of the whole podcast, the Mickey 17 talk?
Well, before we get into the oops all spoilers for the rest of the podcast, I would like to pseudo end this one for anyone who is going to stop listening that hasn't seen Mickey 17 yet. So I would like to jump to, we did get a question I wanted to read on our last video. So a couple questions, and I actually would like both of you guys to answer these. So the first one is from Farah. It says, I personally think after Endgame, Marvel went downhill when it came to their franchise. Do you think the same? I primarily agree. I'm kind of hoping for a bit of a renaissance. I think there's been some good ones that have come out since Endgame, but I definitely think that I overall agree that it's kind of felt like it's gotten a bit lazy, and in some areas maybe too in-depth for people to keep up with all the series that you have to see to understand like what's happening.
I agree.
I agree 100%.
All right, easy one there. So yes, we all agree.
Well, I would say, though, that I do think that they are heading back in the right direction. I think it'll take them a few more steps to get back to the quality that they were putting out. I also think that Disney is just having an issue right now where their storytelling isn't reflecting what the fans want and more so what they think they want, and it's very disconnected right now.
I definitely agree with that. I think that they're also just kind of having an identity crisis as to what Marvel is and like what they want Marvel to be. And personally, I think that part of the issue was they went so big with Endgame where now it feels like none of these movies have actual stakes. And if you make it feel that it was a similar conflict to Endgame, it kind of undersells what the conflict of Endgame was like. And it's a hard movie to follow up when they spent so much time setting it up, and it's like now these new villains are just not as compelling, and they've had multiple issues with the actors that were supposed to be the next big villains, and they weren't received well, etc., etc.
I agree. I feel like Endgame was such a high peak that everything after is just kind of like it's hard to come down from a peak like that.
Oh, definitely. It's like they just set the bar so high that now they just are constantly just like smacking their forehead into it, trying to get over it over and over again, and re-releasing content that would have been good before Endgame.
Yeah.
I also just feel like putting everything into like TV show format, it's not doing much justice.
I think it worked very well for Star Wars, so they just assumed it was going to work very well for Marvel.
They are not that guy.
No.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that for me, I could sit down for about 2 hours and have a buy-in into like a superhero movie or something of that capacity. But if you're asking me to watch Captain America or even Iron Man, which is one of my favorites, for 12 hours, I'm good. I'm good. I'd like to watch about 2 hours whenever a movie comes out at the theater and have some popcorn. I don't need it to be like that.
Yep.
I would agree with that.
Now, I have one more to jump to, too. So we talked some, or let me just read the question, actually. You guys mentioned that games can feel alive in a game by the side quests. Is there any specific side quest in a game that can ruin a game? Yes. Follow missions. I do not want to follow some crusty-ass, dusty-ass freaking guy that walks at a speed between your walk and run speed for any amount of time. Get it out of your games. It is not fun. It's not interesting. I cannot stand it.
99% of Red Dead is that, and I cannot stand it.
I can't do it. Red Dead is such a beautiful game and so awesome. I love the setting. The visuals are amazing, but there's so much stuff in Red Dead that just completely pulls me out because I just don't care. I don't want to sit there and walk behind someone and listen to them monologue. Just make it a cutscene. I'll watch a 20-minute cutscene. Don't make me sit there and pretend to be engaged in your cutscene by holding the analog stick forward at a weird angle. Like, it is unbelievable how much I cannot stand the follow quest. It's why I completely stopped playing the Assassin's Creed games. And
but
also,
Bethesda's really bad at that too.
Yeah, they definitely are. The other close one is I am over the collectibles that have like 200 plus collectibles of just picking something up. I don't want that. I like collectibles that have like the video logs or the audio logs that build up the universe. But if you try to make me collect 200 feathers, I'm just writing that quest off. It is not a quest in the game anymore.
I agree.
So I actually love those quests because GTA, when you had to find those spaceship parts, that was my shit. I was obsessed with it. I'm locked in.
Yeah, but just because some people can do it right doesn't mean everybody can.
Speaking of that, hot take, I hated the Gwent missions in Witcher 3.
I cannot relate to that.
That was one of the missions that I just rage quit, and I was like, I'm not here to play cards. Let me kill some lechins.
I love the Gwent side quests so much that when Jess does them on her playthrough, I ask to do them.
You literally don't, because I force you to do them. Because I will not do them.
One thing about me is I'm always down to play a little bit of cards, even in the middle of a different video game. I'd always like a little, like in Cult of the Lamb, the dice game. That rules. That game freaking rules. In the old Fable games, they had a card game that was kind of like Texas Hold'em almost. That game ruled.
Zach from Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2.
Oh my god. I gambled everything away. Yeah. Well,
the gambling addiction is strong with this one.
Yeah.
I liked Knucklebones, but I can't do the cards.
I think it is fair. I think that those should not probably be mandatory to do in games. I think that they should be a fun, like, secondary thing to do.
Yeah.
Maybe, like, the intro to, like, how to play it could be mandatory. But I definitely don't think that it's good for the game to try to make those things mandatory when it's, like, not what your game is about. But I do love a good card game or fishing mini game in a game. I think it does something right for me. And I think, especially when it's, like, good world building, I think it's awesome, but it could definitely be done badly.
I think that if you do make those games, like those side quests, game-related like that, like side game-related, if you win or lose, it should basically be the same result. Because in The Witcher, you do have to do like a Gwent tournament for like a Triss quest line, but no matter you win or lose, it still gives you the same result at the end of the quest. You just either get a cool card or you don't. I like when it doesn't, you get the same result no matter what. Because, like, in Knights of the Old Republic, I'll say it was done a little poorly, even though I love it. Because you just straight up will miss a quest line in the starting area of the game if you don't have the good cards that the guy who's been playing for 40 years has.
Yeah. I can definitely, I can understand that take, though. Now, the collecting a bunch of bullshit, I disagree. I can't do it. Can't do that one.
I love
it. It depends on the game. As long as I just don't like when it's too much. If it's a little bit, that's fine. Like me and her in that in that SpongeBob game, it was like most of the collectibles were like 3 or 4.
That's
Sometimes
totally
you get
fine.
a 5.
That's like
that's fine.
Even 20 or 30 is
getting crazy.
I know I'm getting a little bit crazy here, but some of these RPG games, like open world games that have like literally 2 or 3 or 4 or 500 of these stupid little items you have to pick up, it's just like, it's not fun. It's not enjoyable.
Especially Assassin's Creed, because like your game's horrible. There's no reason you should be having that shit in there. Focus on good storytelling.
I love it.
In a game like Elden Ring, I feel like it's compelling to explore and it's rewarding to explore, and like the collectibles, air quotes, you find are all things that impact the way the game is played. They impact your kit, they impact your equipment, or they're collectible items that are maybe help you with specific bosses, like they make you resistant to flame, or they put people to sleep, and like whatever it is. That's cool. I'm fine with that. I do like collecting things in games. I just don't like when it's meaningless.
Yeah, I get that. I want there to be something behind it.
Absolutely. So that covers...
My big thing, though, is, because I didn't have a take on it yet, is I don't like the, hey, I need this, go get it. And then that's the whole mission.
Yeah.
I hate that so much. Bethesda, I'm talking to you.
The fetch
quests.
I
can't stand when it's just the fetch quest. Like, give me something behind it. Honestly, I think it's just a cheap way out. Like, I think that there are so many. We have 40, 50 years of video games at this point. There are so many ways to accomplish quest lines and main objectives. That is so annoying. I literally can't stand that.
Yeah. I'm in pretty much the same boat. I don't mind doing some of these like tedious things as long as they have a real reason to be doing it and they feel like they're interesting and part of the world. And they're not just like, well, our games takes 200 hours to complete because you have to deal with all this bullshit. But I think that covers all the questions for that one. So I just want to touch base on that, and now I would love to talk about the feature presentation.
All right, any final points before we head on? All right, guys. Well, we're going to end the main podcast now. So if you are interested in spoilers, you want to hear our takes on Mickey 17, or you just want to get a little bit of an idea of what the movie's about, and you're not particularly, super stressed about maybe if some of the points get spoiled for you, feel free to keep listening. If not, thank you guys so much for joining us. Feel free to follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Blue Sky, and sadly, Twitter. Feel free to email us, send us questions, comments, and thank you so much for joining us, guys.
Anyway, now that all the nerds are gone that haven't seen this awesome movie, all right, where are we starting?
Jess has a whole list.
All right.
Well, first of all, what was the rating? Where are we at?
Okay, so my rating is a firm. I think if I watch it again, I'll like it more. But a firm right now, 8.5. I really, really, really liked it. And there was only like one or two little things that I wasn't a big fan of. And it was story related, which makes a good story if there's stuff you don't like in a story sometimes, like certain aspects of it. I didn't like the cruelty to the little baby roly-polies. And I think that the fact that Glenn from The Walking Dead didn't have anything actually bad end up happening to him was very big letdown. But 8.5 for me. How about you, Hunter?
I will give it a good round 9. I did not think it was perfect, but I think what it was trying to say and talk about was good. I think they did a good job kind of with all. There was kind of a decent number of subplots, and I feel like they all wrapped up good, and it didn't get too confusing, but it was still compelling. The characters were interesting and pretty built out. There was a lot of both emotional and physical turmoil. I don't know. I checked pretty much all the boxes I like for this type of kind of like sci-fi movie. Had some good
pretty big names
too.
in it too.
Oh yeah,
pretty big names in it.
The acting was definitely very compelling. I like Robert Pattinson. I like Mark Ruffalo a lot. I could take or leave Glenn.
I like him as an actor, and he was good for the shitty, cocky character he played.
Yeah,
I think that's my biggest highlight of the movie is the story was good, but God, the acting in the movie was so great.
Yeah,
What's your rating, babe?
Solid 8.
Solid 8?
Okay.
And I feel like as we talk about it, that could decrease.
Decrease.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I have a lot of feelings. A lot of unanswered questions.
Okay, since you have a list, why don't you rattle off some of that for us so we can get talking?
Well, there are a couple that I agree with you. My biggest pet peeve in any film, story, etc., I don't care if it's like a turd that came to life. Don't hurt the baby. Okay? I really don't like it. It makes me sad. It's another reason why the third Guardians of the Galaxy was an amazing movie, but it'll never be a 10 for me because it was so sad. And having read the comics, like, I knew his backstory, but it hurts my heart. I should not be crying during Mickey 17.
I am a little bit understanding, but all right, how about we do a quick overview? So the story takes place in the future on Earth. A bunch of humans leave Earth, and it's a failed politician's kind of leading the voyage, and he's kind of like a church head.
Cult leader.
Somebody is a cult leader. He's somebody actually very, I can't put my finger on it, but he reminds me of somebody quite a bit, Mark Ruffalo's character. But they're all going to another planet, and you basically have to have something to give this ship to get on it. So Robert Pattinson is an expendable. He's basically the only person on the ship that his main job is to do every dangerous job. And he dies. They reprint him and give him all of his memories back, and he keeps dying over and over and over again. And it leads into the main plot of the story where they find a sentient species on the planet that they go to cultivate, and it leads to friction with the faction of the humans and the faction of like the sentient roly-poly babies. All right, go ahead with any other points you guys want to make.
important piece of it as well is that every time there's a specific kind of like creed of not making multiple copies of the same person because of an incident that had happened previously in this that they kind of touch base on in the story, that it becomes very taboo to clone people on Earth is part of why this kind of they take advantage of this technology in this expedition where they're leaving Earth as well.
Yeah, it's multiples. So if you can print off as many of the same person, that means you could potentially do bad stuff. So it's extremely frowned upon, and then they kill any of the multiples and also completely delete their brain data, so that person no longer exists. It's basically a crime to be a multiple. And that's kind of what happens to Mickey 17, is he's the 17th Mickey. He's in a committed relationship, and then he doesn't die, and for some reason they print Mickey 18, and then that leads to... Which is, I mean, it's not even... You can't even say it's like the main plot point. It's like literally a subplot that he's there, Mickey 18's there, so it's like the Mickeys have a conflict. They have a conflict with the president, while the president has a conflict with the aliens.
Well, to be fair, I would say it's one of the main plot points because the entire reason that the plot progresses and doesn't just maintain the status quo is because Mickey 18 exists.
That's
at
fair.
the same time as Mickey 17. So like that's the catalyst for the whole story. Like Mickey 17 would just continue his life of being reborn and dying over and over again as 18, 19, 20, etc., etc. Except for because they thought he was dead and print a new one.
How do you guys feel about the fact that he didn't want to die because he felt like he was no longer going to live because there was already a new Mickey without his memory? I thought that was actually really interesting, and I didn't even think about that.
I think that each one that exists is an individual that just happens to have the memories of the previous ones.
I agree.
But then 17, if he dies and then the next time he awakens, he's still the only one, then I could understand why he feels like that's his consciousness. Since there's already one there, then that means that version of Mickey will never exist ever again.
I think it's just about every single Mickey that existed 1 through 18 are all complete individuals. Like they remember the things, but they are not the same person. It's like
which explains like the differences in personality, right?
Right. It's like if you woke up and you had all of my memories, but you were you. You wouldn't be Hunter, you would be Juan, even though you have all my memories. It's kind of...
I'd be a better Hunter.
Maybe.
All right, what was the next point you had on your list?
I feel like they're not points, they're just kind of hot takes and opinions.
Okay.
Okay, don't cook me.
What's that?
I'm gonna.
You probably will. I have very weird hot takes. And I don't like when anything but human talk. I don't, even if it's through a translator. It took me out of it, personally.
So you don't like when the aliens were talking or any other, like, non-human talks?
I did not like that they could understand them. I didn't like it. Don't do it.
I understand what you mean. I could understand why it would take you out of it a little bit. But, I mean, it didn't seem too ridiculously different to me than, like, Star Wars with all the different races that speak.
Like I said, it's a hot take, because it was the same thing with The Hobbit. Read the book. I knew the dragon talked, but when I heard him talk and I saw the movie with him talking, hated it.
That's fair. It's just a personal preference. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Do you have any problems with them talking, Hunter?
I like that they did the translator thing and made them talk, because I feel like it's kind of like the movie's kind of allegorical. Like it's showing like these communication barriers between intelligent life forms, and it's kind of how when a dominant culture interacts with another one, and like there's this huge communication error, even though both cultures are equally as intelligent and capable and have their own strengths and weaknesses, etc., etc. But they use it as an excuse. Like, look at, these are idiots. They don't speak the language that we speak. They don't have our culture. They're lesser than us. So I like that they kind of played into that and made it so it's just like, oh, we just assume that they're stupid bugs that exist on this planet and not complex social creatures.
I actually, to bring up another point, going back to Jess's first take on the movie, I think the fact that they were intelligent species kind of leads credence into the fact that they didn't just kill an alien bug on another planet. Since they're an intelligent species, they literally killed a baby.
100%.
It wasn't a human baby, but it was a baby of a sentient species that the mom felt she needed to call the whole army in for. Like, it's no longer, oh no, you killed an ugly little dog, even though they were adorable. You literally killed a baby. You can't think of it no longer as just an insect on another planet. It is now a baby because they talk, they think, they feel.
And I will say, I do understand where you're coming from on that, Jess, because I think they shouldn't have had to make the creature talk, but I think that most audiences would not feel any remorse and be like, agree with Mark Ruffalo's character if he was like killing these bugs if they couldn't communicate, because people just wouldn't see the nuance as much. I feel like they have to like humanize them so people are like, oh, it's bad to kill the bugs.
That is fair.
So
That's
like
a decent point.
I agree with, I feel like if people could like get that point without making them talk, like it would be a better movie, to be honest.
We'd probably be a different people if that was the case.
That's fair. That's on me. I'm a big softie though, so all I saw was one paw and it was over.
Yeah, no, I
they
thought
were so cute.
Bailey and I thought they were super cute. She saw the movie with me, and we liked them before they talked and everything. I was just like, literally the first scene that they were in, I was just like, oh my god, it's a bug puppy. It's just like my dog. Like
Yeah.
the first time we saw them, and I was just like, it's like a woolly mammoth caterpillar.
Yeah, dude.
Like even their first opening scene when like they're in the cave and everything,
And the mama falls down.
I would die for them.
Yeah,
They were so cute. Well, that's the thing too, was like, also on a first point, I felt like it was unnecessary to kill any of them. Well, the shooting scene I get because they didn't know, but after that, when they were hurting it, cutting its tail, doing all that mean shit to it, it felt so unnecessary because it's like you already knew who was the bad guy by the way he treated humans. It was unnecessary to stab the baby and cut its tail off and all that stuff to reinforce the fact that they're bad people. Also, what the fuck was up with the sauce?
Okay, that was my next one. My note literally says sauce ?
I think it was
Oh my
there
God.
to kind of show how disconnected from reality those people were. Like, they were basically thinking of them. Not only did they convince people that they were like demigod cult leaders, but they believed it themselves. I feel like it was necessary to kind of like show that it's not just that they're putting on an act to trick people. Like, they really believe these delusions that they are living gods.
Yeah,
Like,
that's-
I don't
I
think.
just got a good name for the podcast.
Okay.
Does Hunter love the sauce?
Yes.
Episode 8.
period.
He almost jumped through the screen to get that tail sauce.
I was licking my lips. I was like, this would be good on the popcorn.
Oh, greasy.
I'm just joking.
Fucking greasy.
Look like fucking
All right,
Clamato
babe.
juice.
What else do you got for us?
Where was I? Oh, the replicator and the destruction of said replicator.
Yes.
I feel like they could have kept it. Like how we were talking about yesterday for like the scientists.
Yeah,
You know?
I
like-
get her point on that. It's like it seemed like since better people were in control, they could have maybe kept it to make sure that the important aspects of the society that could have been damaged by going to a hostile planet, they might have been able to keep people alive that would have died by accident, died by mishap, stuff like
even-
that.
Yeah, or even just like modified it so it wasn't just like a human printer. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's a good point.
Because they weren't stupid.
Yeah.
I think that the destruction of it was mostly like symbolic to show like now he is an individual. Like, this is there is only one Mickey now. Like,
Uh-huh.
Okay, yeah.
I'm sure they have the technology to like recreate it if they really wanted to. Like, I'm sure they have all the databases and everything or whatever. So like they could remake it if they wanted to. So I think it was mostly just for like the idea that like now he is liberated. He is no longer an expendable. He is the only Mickey. Like, now he's not Mickey 17, he's Mickey Barnes now.
Yeah, which they did make that point at the very end where it went from Mickey 17, they crossed it out, and then it went Mickey Barnes is how the movie ended.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I get what you mean. It was definitely very symbolic, but I did think that they probably could have kept it, especially because the majority of the people had turned over a new leaf. They wanted this change into the future, and they probably, like you said, they probably could make it again, but the fact of the matter is we don't know that they can. So it's like I felt like they could have. I know what you mean, though. The symbolicism of it is really good because I was rooting for 17 the whole time. I liked 18. I liked that he was about that action. He was ready to kill a president. I really understood that. But, yeah, he just... I really like 17, and I really... Oh, what did you guys think about... Because I didn't really particularly care for his girlfriend too much. And then you seen about how amazing she was being there for him the whole time. And then that really made me root for her in the end.
Yeah, at first glance, I agree. I was like, not really for her. But then, you pull back a bit and you see everything.
The whole picture?
Yeah, I definitely think she had a turnaround for me.
I think...
Like how she sat there with him as he died. Like, that was amazing.
Yeah, because they didn't show that at first.
Yeah.
I think that there's something weird about their relationship. Like, there's something fundamentally weird about, like, I love this person, but they're a different person, and they'll never... her thought process, this is going to happen forever. Like, he's going to keep being remade or whatever. And, like, that's compelling to be like, oh, yeah, my partner's going to live forever. But also, like, that's not your partner every time they're reborn. It's just someone who looks just like your partner and has their memories. Because, again, you can kind of see that with 17 and 18. It's like, she loves this person, but it's kind of weird because it's not the same person that she loves. They only showed, really, the differences between 17 and 18 being so stark, but it seems like, based on that there'd be differences in all of them.
Well, she did bring up that 3 was super, super whiny and 8 was really cold or something like that.
One of them was clingy. There was 2 that were boring.
Mm-hmm.
8 was super clingy and 3 was super bitchy.
So she did touch on the fact that they all have different personalities and, like, love languages, if you will.
I feel like something about that doesn't sit right with me as, like, saying, like, she just loves this person. Like, I think that maybe she loves the idea of never losing her partner.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
there's a level of it that's almost like you're signing up to, like, watch the person that you love the most die over and over and over again, and that's kind of crazy too.
Yeah, it's a red flag.
Like, you're signing up
Little
for being with this person forever, but they're not the person that you originally fell in love with. They're a variant of that person, and you don't know what you're getting every time they come out, and you're guaranteed going to have to watch them die over and over and over and over again. Is like, just all of those things don't sit right with me. And then it really kind of climaxed at the point, funny enough, where she's in bed with both of them.
Threesome,
yeah, and that was the point where it's like, imagine you were Mickey 17 in that moment, and you go home, and you see your partner has been intimate with an exact clone of you who is not you. Like, you have a different consciousness than you.
Yeah,
they
it's
have
like
a
your
different
twin.
memory. Yeah, and
it's like your twin.
And then when you're like, wow, I can't believe this happened, blah, 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 they go, no, you're silly. I love both of you. It's like, that's crazy. Like, that is,
Yeah,
I would be pretty distraught in that situation. I think
That's
most
why I
people
was
would
not
be.
into her. That's why I did not like her at first. Well, I guess that's like the midway point. That's why I didn't like her at the midway point, because I was just like, that is so fucked up.
Yeah.
I was so not into that. And she was like, imagine if you had 2 of me. And it's like, oh, it's always interesting to imagine if I had 2 of you, but the fact of the matter is you have 2 different versions of me. We're not the same person. The fact that we exist at the same time means that we are no longer the same people.
Well, even if they exist separately, they're not the same person. That's kind of what I'm
but like on
getting
a
at.
fundamental, very baseline level. Like, I know what you mean, and like you're talking about it from like a realistic standpoint, but like if you're just not putting too much thought into it, the fact that they both exist proves that they're not the same person.
Right, for sure.
Because I would murder Jess if I came home and my doppelganger was in bed with her. Like, are you fucking kidding? Like, that's insane. It's honestly, it's unhinged. And also, can we talk about the fact that the other girl that really wanted him was like in love with her best friend, but also in love with him? Like, wanted both. Like, that was weird dynamic between those two.
I don't
as well.
think she was in love with him. I think she was just looking for a good time, and there was two of them.
Yeah, but she was hitting on him earlier in the movie as well.
Was she?
Yeah, remember when they were sitting at the table and then his girlfriend came up and like made out in front of her?
I do think
Yeah.
that scene also kind of showcases that these people don't really think about him as a human being anymore. They're like, oh, we'll
That
just
might
split
be
him up.
correct.
Like, they don't even think about Mickey 17 or 18. They're just like talking about divvying him up. And it's like they don't.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the relation that she has with him is like she's in love with the idea of Mickey, but he isn't the person she's in love with because he's never the same person.
And it was weird when, what's her name? I can't even remember her, the one that lost her best friend. She was like, all right, I get 17, you get 18. And it's like, he literally doesn't want her to be with 18 and he doesn't want you. What are you guys talking about? That leads credence into what you're saying is like, they don't view him as a person.
Yeah, that's.
And she views, and that's another reason why I didn't like his girlfriend. She views him as ownership over him. Like, she was like, no, I get both of them. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You don't own them.
Yeah, I think that part also. Like, I think that the thing that I didn't like about her and the movie, to be honest, is I feel like they really tried to make you like her character by the end, and I did not. I did not feel like there was enough compelling reasons to care, and it's like, yeah, it's cool that she was there individually for this copy of him in those trying times or whatever, and that is like the most redeeming characteristic about her, but also it's just like he doesn't owe her anything because of how she was with previous versions of himself.
That's fair.
Because it's not him.
I would only say the reason why she redeemed herself in my eyes is because she cared enough to be there for him and the only person who seemed to care about any version of him. And then he wanted to be with her, so he got his happy ending. Even if she's a bad person, the fact that he went through everything and then still wanted to be with her, and then he was able to, and then you've seen that she cared enough about him to at least be there for him in that point, even though I still wouldn't get over the cheating. I felt like that's why I liked her, is because that's what he wanted to have a happy life. And I felt so bad for this character that I just wanted him to have anything that made him happy.
Yeah,
Because I cared so much about him, which is why I like the movie so much. Somebody you spend 2 hours with, you care so much about.
I'm happy that he got what he wanted out of it, but I just don't think what he wanted was the best, you know? It seems like there's a precedent. He's made a lot of bad choices. So I don't really think it's that compelling to be like, no, this will be the good choice. But I do have more to say also about.
Bro went in on macaroons.
he really did.
Alright, what's that?
Macaroons to the moon.
Jesus H. Christ.
I know, that was bad. I also think that part of the premise of the movie is that this technology is bad, even if it's in the hands of people who are trying to be responsible with it. I think that part of why they like blowing up the machine is like, no matter who has this ability, it's always going to be bad to make clones of somebody that are different than them. I think there's just too many ethical and philosophical problems that exist that making clones of people, for whatever the reason, even if you believe it's altruistic or good. I mean, if you look at them using him to originally what they thought making the vaccines or whatever for the air and stuff like that so that they could survive or whatever seems like an altruistic thing, but it's not really. I don't think that no matter how you use that technology, it's a good thing.
That's fair. And it also kind of takes away what a human is. If a human is this one person, you live, you breathe, you die. But then you can just come back as a different person completely. It kind of takes away from the human experience.
Yeah, I still am just. I don't think you're coming back. I don't think there's any coming back.
For sure. Yeah. Then that's what I think of, like what you were saying, like you're a different person completely. You just have somebody else's memories. I feel like he maybe didn't think about it too much. because, like you said, he didn't make the best decision, so he might not have been too bright in the overall. But like, how would you not have an identity crisis? Like, you have a completely different personality. You're telling me he never once looked in the mirror and realized that he was a completely different person than who he was yesterday?
I think that the way they showed that he did think about that was that he was still afraid to die. He said it always sucked, and I think it's because he ultimately knew he wasn't going to wake up.
That could be
There's
it.
just a
True.
new copy of him out there that exists, and he is dead. It's the same thing they kind of touched on when, like, Mickey 18 character is on that, whatever, like the little track Jeep tank thing or whatever, and he's with the president or whatever, and, like, he's still, the Mickey 18, even after being that much of a badass, I don't care to die, still has to think about it for a second. He still knows the ultimate nature of death, regardless of the machine that propagates versions of himself.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I get that. I could buy into that for sure.
But I do think...
Yeah, I don't think I could do it.
I do think it's awesome that this movie can generate so many differences and ways to look at it and think about it, though. I think that means it was really compelling and well done, that there's so many different takeaways, you know?
Yeah.
The characters in a 2-hour movie could be so deep that we're having these types of conversations really kind of cements it as a very well done sci-fi movie to me.
Yeah, especially after it's not a completely original story. The ideas behind it, at least. So for it to be so good after it's sort of like a story that we've maybe heard before, that says a lot about it. And like I said, I mean, even the stuff I didn't particularly like the girlfriend and the hurting the animals and all that stuff. A movie that makes you feel anything is inherently a better movie than something that you're just like, this sucks. Rebel Moon. Like, it's just a great movie because I felt all these different things watching it. And I would say overall, I genuinely really, really, really liked the movie.
Yeah,
I really did.
I enjoyed it a lot. I felt like I was upset in certain scenes, and I felt like I didn't like when they were messing with the little critters, but I think that's why they did it. I think they were trying to elicit a response from you to really cement how bad these people were and how bad the life was under these people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And shout out to Mommy Rollie Pollie. I fucking loved that thing.
Queen.
I have...
Did you have other points? Did you have other things we didn't touch?
Other than that, I understood why Negan did what he did to Glenn.
Oh.
I think...
Yeah.
He should do it again. No,
I agree.
run it back after that movie. I actually liked that guy literally almost as much as I didn't like the president. Like, he was the second worst character to me, or third, because the president's wife was apeshit.
Yeah, for real. Sauce?
But yeah, sauce? Want some sauce? A little bit of dressing?
Dressing is crazy.
Dressing is unreasonable.
No, I do have one other thing that I wanted to touch on that might be my actual complete favorite part of the whole movie.
Okay.
The fact that they were bluffing about the heads exploding was probably my favorite part of the whole movie.
Mine as well.
They got destroyed in the marketplace of ideas by a bunch of fucking caterpillars. That is it is so funny to me. Like, just the fact that they bluffed. Like, oh, all of us scream loud enough, your head will explode. And it's like, damn, this thing looks like it's serious. It's pretty menacing looking. I have no idea what it's capable of. I believe them. Like, they just got outplayed by a bunch of goddamn caterpillars, and it is so funny to me. That was maybe the part I laughed the hardest of the whole movie.
100%.
I also loved everything about the Rollie Polies, but the fact that she was just like, bark, 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 and then they made a bunch of mounds of her walking around and they couldn't tell which one was which. I love that about them.
That was a really good scene.
They're just running in circles, making gigantic mounds. And I love that they were tripping all over each other. Oh, dude, it was so good.
It literally is just like, oh yeah, you have a super advanced civilization? Well, how do you like the cup game, idiots? It's just so funny that it worked, too.
Oh my god, it was so good, dude. I loved everything about that. It's always... It's always hard, I think, for movies to pull off a alien race that's actually likable. I guess all you got to do is make them cute.
Yeah.
Because I was all in.
Yeah. I did really like those guys. I would not be against owning a plushie of them. They win. The capitalists have won. Just kidding, guys. But I am sort of not kidding. I would buy a plushie of one of those. They're pretty adorable.
Yeah.
I would as well.
I didn't like that they kind of had horse eyes though. That was the only thing I didn't like. Like when they zoomed up on the mom's eye or whatever, it like looked like a horse, and I was like, I don't mess with that.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of horses.
I also feel like it was crazy that there was only one mom.
Mm-hmm.
True.
That poor lady.
I know.
Yeah, she's just spitting them out.
Yeah.
Well, what I was trying to tell Jess is that I think that maybe it was multiple generations. So, like, there were other bigger ones. Not nearly as big as her, obviously.
Yeah, there was... And also, like, this is regional. Like, I don't think that was all of them on the whole planet. I think those were just all of the ones that maybe were under her tribe. And if they're anything like actual bugs, like, I thought of it kind of like a queen ant.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Like, she probably, like, is pumping out clutches of eggs or babies or whatever all the time.
Clutches is wild.
Pumping out was the one that took me.
Listen, whatever it takes to make the sauce.
Oh my god. God damn it.
All right, guys, I'm going to head out.
Oh my god. So I would let me quickly touch on one more point. Going back to the Glenn thing. I do genuinely find it frustrating that he just never got his. He was a bad friend. He was a bad person. I did not like him. And I think it's unfair that... This is honestly my only real critique. Everything else was just Juan's personal opinions about stuff. My only real critique about the movie is it feels like every bad guy got theirs except for him, and I do not like that.
Yeah, he was just a worm. Like, he literally was just, like, such a... I don't know. I really did not like him. And I kind of agree. Like, I was hoping... when that guy showed up, that he was gonna get his just desserts, as it were, and like get put into the trash compactor. But then when he like fought back and he won, I was just like, oh my god, get this guy out of here, get him off my screen, feed him to the bugs.
Feed him to the bugs, man. Hey, mama, you can have one more.
I was hoping he was gonna be the one that she took it in lieu of her loss.
Oh, that would have been cool, but we had to get rid of Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, he could have just
and just what an amazing performance from him.
Oh, like, yeah,
dude. When he's not the Incredible Hulk, he's actually an amazing actor.
When he's not given the worst voice lines of all time,
or spoiling the end game whole plot line on TV.
You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. Probably not, Mark.
H. Christ.
Probably not, Mark. Probably wouldn't.
The jaw killed me every time. The veneers were out of control.
Stop! I was gonna mention.
Oh
the Tic
my
Tacs.
gosh, that was awesome. That was really funny to me too.
I loved it.
I have to give. I obviously like Mark Ruffalo, amazing performance, but also Toni Collette, I believe is her name. She really sold her performance as well as like his counterpart or whatever. Like. I hated both of their characters so much, which is like means that they were very compelling. Like they were pretty good at being villains in that movie, both of them.
It killed me when she ripped up the rug from under Mickey as he was dying of food poisoning. It was like, you can't do that on my mink. All right, now you can do it.
Yeah.
That killed me.
I personally love that actress. She was the mom in Hereditary.
Oh yeah, she was.
Oh,
okay, yeah, she was awesome in that movie too. She's literally my favorite scene in that movie is when she's just knocking her noggin into the attic over and over again. Bonk, 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 bonk. That was the best part of that whole movie. And yeah, no, she was. To be for real, she was really good in that movie.
Oh yeah.
I think talking about them as two separate characters though is a hindrance to what they stood for. They were both so completely reliant on each other that I consider them the one bad guy as a unit.
I thought she had a little more control than
he was
mentally.
just his puppet.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just because he was so stupid. But that's what I like about it, and that's why I consider them one character. Because it's not like Palpatine and Vader. It's like they're literally he does not even talk without getting her permission. First of all, let's talk about loyalty. You know, like, that man, he respects his wife. You know, say what you want about the guy. Good husband. But, I don't know, I just consider them, like, the whole time I consider them a unit as, like, one bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Because they both fed off of each other, which led to such bad decisions. Her being in control, but him having the true power. You know what I mean?
Mickey 17 answers the age-old question of, what if a wife guy had an evil wife?
A wife guy. So stupid. Oh my god. So if anybody has stuck through with us to the very end, I would really highly recommend going and seeing it as soon as possible. Tuesdays at MJR movie theaters, and I think at Celebration Cinemas they do, you know, like half price tickets. So I mean, if you didn't want to spend full price on it, don't wait until it comes out on DVD. Don't wait till it goes to streaming. It genuinely hinders these people who make such great movies. If you can spare the $8, $7 to go see it in theaters, I would really recommend doing it. Great movie. I love it, and I would like to see it again.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it's one of those ones that's worth actually going to the cinema for. Get your popcorn or your snacks and really dig into the movie, because there's a lot to absorb. I definitely will be watching it again when it comes out, because I feel like I'll pick up on even more things later on.
And don't forget the sauce.
Don't forget the sauce.
Oh, I will never forget the sauce.
Shout out to the wife literally having the portable ninja with her ready to make sauce.
She was dedicated
She
to
was
the game.
They
about
were
it.
in like the war room. She was like, "Oop, let me get my blender."
Yeah, literally. She was about it. Her whole life was Mark Ruffalo and sauce.
Yes.
I loved it.
It's the sign of an advanced civilization.
No, seriously, dude.
Truly.
2050, here we come. Any other closing things from you guys?
I'm still just thinking about the Rollie Pollie gravy, but
That is such a gross ass comment. Holy shit.
I have like indigestion from that.
Oh, god damn it.
I've
man.
become this podcast compelling villain. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm the heel
well,
now.
I found the new name.
I'm the heel.
Found the new name. Oh, Rollie Pollie
Yikes.
gravy.
Boo.
Tomato, tomato.
Your boos mean nothing to me. I've seen what makes you cheer.
Oh, God.
Well,
All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us for our very first spoiler cast. We let you guys know not to listen if you didn't want any spoilers. If you stayed through, definitely go see it if you can. You guys have anything else to close us out with?
no, I think that I touched on pretty much everything we wanted. I think we could keep talking about this movie in length, to be honest, but I think we've touched on a lot. I would love for people to comment and tell us what they thought of the movie, what they liked and didn't like. I would love to have a dialogue about it. If you want to post on the Reddit and open up a thread or whatever, I'm definitely interested in hearing what y'all think of it. And thank you to our guest, Jess, for joining us. We appreciate your input.
Hey, anytime.
Love you, babe.
Love
Love you
All
too.
right, bye, guys.
Go away. Bye.
you. Yep, let me get out of here.